Capricorn 8. Birds in a house singing happily. Well, of course, birds are meant to be flying free, so here they are in a limited sense in the house, and yet they're singing happily. How is this? We are souls and are free, and yet here we are in bodies. How come we can be happy? How do we find joy when the soul's essence self is freedom? How do we manage to do that and to experience life in all of its limited, squeezing form? Experiencing this as something other than a limitation to deny us our freedom. This is the trick that we have to learn. And those people who learn this trick are happy. They sing happily, and those who don't are frustrated and railing against the limitations. We have an insatiable urge to express ourselves and all of our opinions and our knowledge and our talents and our desires. We really want to get it out. And every time we do, we come up against something that doesn't want us to do that. This is the limitation of life. In this physical place called the earth, we're constrained to be held. And there's not much we can do about changing that fact. So what we have to do when we can't change the outer world is to change the inner world. So to come to terms with the fact that we're in a limitation, we're in a limited physical body, and to come to terms with that. So without coming to terms with that, we can't be happy. So how do we come to terms with that? And the answer really is to do with the understanding that we need something to give us form, or we can't understand who and what we are. Unless we are constrained, we just don't define ourselves. It takes constraint to define anything. And what we notice in life is that there's a scope of realistic possibility. Some things we can imagine because we have a fantastic imagination, but they don't check out. It's not real. I mean, I'd love to go to work on a unicorn, but it just doesn't check out. That's not a realistic possibility, and so it would be foolish for me to have a life goal which required that. And a lot of people kind of, they have career aspirations which are unrealistic. And unless you do certain things, you can't have certain things. So unless you're willing to take the sacrifice that goes with certain career possibilities, then it's not a realistic possibility for you. You have to do really a lot of work. You have to be particularly skillful, sometimes have the right connections to get some jobs and some situations. And if you just don't have those, it's unrealistic. Somebody born in Bangladesh, for example, would be foolish to think of themselves as becoming the President of the United States. It's just unrealistic. And most of us have some aspect of our lives like that when we're young. And we learn eventually to let go of the foolish vision and replace it with a workable vision. So yes, we're going to get what we can imagine, but that imagination has to be really authentic. We have to know fully that we can imagine ourselves in that situation when we check it out on the rational level as well. The test really of whether something is real and workable very often comes by looking at someone who's already done it and taking them as a role model. And if you see somebody who's actually exactly the way you'd like to be, check out their life story, find out how they got to be that way. They may have suffered terrible inconvenience to become like that. They may have an extraordinarily unique talent which you have not. So we look at a role model to find out what's realistic, because if someone's done it, it's doable, then we check out whether we could do that. And if we find that we can, then yeah, fine, okay, there you have a realistic vision, and that's lovely. But when you find out that you can't, then the thing to do is just accept that limitation. It's the same with wealth and position and so on. There's always someone who's got a little bit more than you, and you like a bit, and yet there's a deeper secret. The secret to joy is not furthering your abundance. That doesn't lead to joy. If you've got a lack and you deal with that lack, that's a step in the right direction. But if you go further and further and further into a greedy grasping of abundance, that doesn't bring joy at all. What does bring joy is singing happily like a bird. That kind of joy is when you accept that you are limited. And that acceptance brings joy. That you've done all you tried to do, and you've done some right, you've succeeded in some ways and you've failed in others, and actually you've come to realize that success and failure lead pretty much to the same thing. And that is the end of a trial and error process. That's the thing that everything leads to. We try something out and we work out whether that works or not. And that knowledge of the workability of something, the realistic potential of it, that knowledge is what we really want. And that's as useful in failure as it is in success, possibly even more so. When we're trying to express all of our talents and our opinions and attitudes, we're going to come up against other people, and they're going to shape our personality. We're going to shape our expectations. They're going to teach us what we want to learn about the nature of reality and how far we can go. What's the scope of our reach? And we get to learn that by our interaction with other people. And we actually get a lot more benefit if they say to us something which helps us understand where is the limitation. So in this respect, saying no is more useful. If they actually say, well, look, you can't do that, then that helps us to shape what to expect, how to manifest our talents into the world, requires us to know the scope and the expansion of possibility, those two things. So people that are actually stopping us in our tracks are probably more useful than those that are just accepting the way we are. Acceptance is okay, and yet it doesn't teach us very much. It feels nice, but it doesn't teach us much. But stopping us in our tracks really causes us to consider things, and that's quite useful. So in your interactions with people, the friction, the ones that actually don't harmonize with you, the ones that cause you to think, they're actually the most useful ones to find eventually a sense of the inner definition, the core of who you are. The core cannot be compromised. And yet it cannot be realized either unless all the fanciful extra bits are blown away by limitation. When we have found out who we are at core, then that leads to joy. Joy comes from an authentic presentation of self. And when you have a sense of self, every single situation that comes up will cause you to just be that self. And that can be joyful. That's the way to joy, is not really to expect no horizons of possibility, no scope, no limitation. That doesn't lead there. Constantly looking for greater and greater experiences and proof of abundance. It doesn't go where you want it to go. Where you want to go is limited. You have to find the limitations of yourself to find your true self. And without that known, you don't know what to develop. So, in one sense, this is a Saturn mystery. And there's a great joy in Saturn if you find it. And that is that you do what you do, and you do it well, and you don't try to do what you can't do. It leads to a very very joyful, easy way of life when you live within your own limits, and you live there happily.